they knew, I've seen the papers that before COVID broke out that they knew that masks were of, at best, very limited utility.
But is limited utility better than nothing? I mean, this is my perspective on it is like if it just stops a little bit of transmission, if it stops a little bit of the viral load, if people get less sick than they would have gotten if people were just openly breathing and coughing all over each other, is that better?
Maybe. Because here's the thing, and this is I'm actually really glad you said this because I actually wanted to bring this up if we got a chance. The problem we're seeing with so much of this, especially with the masks and kids, is this collapsing of everything to one damn variable. Transmission. That's the only variable that counts now. Like we don't have to ask questions of like, well, what's it doing to like kids' ability to speak and understand language? What is it doing to their like rates of pneumonia from breathing back in, or facial like acne, or eye infections from breathing their own mouth bacteria back onto their face and being trapped in that? What's it doing? Like what is it? How many? Some absurd number of billions of masks floating in the ocean.
Yes, it's
right.
crazy.
There's a million other things going on, and if we just pay attention to one single variable, does it stop transmission?
Right.
We're missing, it's not even like you miss the forest for the tree. It's like you're looking at like a freaking bit of moss on the bark and not even knowing what's going on there. You can't collapse a very multi-dimensional problem that has lots of trade-offs. There are billions of masks floating in the ocean is a fucking problem.
It is.
And it's funny because, they're getting, if we go back to the ESG thing, they're getting points on their G for good governance by forcing people to wear the masks. But they should be losing points in the environmental category, right? But they're not, because it's all like stakeholder bullshit. They want to prioritize COVID as more important, just like all of a sudden COVID didn't matter when Black Lives Matter became more important. That's the S score goes up. And you can see that that's where you've got to worry about this small number of people who are largely unaccountable being able to make these kinds of decisions for people, because they can make it arbitrary. And in fact, it is arbitrary. And in fact, it's usually not only arbitrary, but political or politicized, as we're seeing kind of tie a lot of the things we've been talking about together. But that collapsing of everything to one variable, there's a million things going on with kids and childhood development and everything. Is it worth everybody wearing masks at the cost, the environmental outlay, the side effects of wearing masks? I mean, everybody's like, oh, I can't breathe in it, hypoxia. Like there is a bit of like suck it up buttercup to that.
Right.
But there's not suck it up buttercup to like you're breathing back in your gross mouth stuff and getting pneumonia if you're, say, 6 years old. Right. And like everybody that's dealt with a 6-year-old knows how that works. They're like little snot machines.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a running commentary throughout all of comedy, of parents' comedy for all of history, is that they generate snot. And they're breathing that back in. They're touching their face all the time because they got the mask on and it's uncomfortable. They're not, apparently all this stuff's coming out, they're not learning to speak. There's so many other variables that have to be considered. And we see that in all of these things.